Welcome back to Online Darts, everyone. We're here at the wonderful Bradmore Farm for a great event, Operation Bullseye Defence Darts, and we've got Alan Soutar here. Alan, this must mean a lot to you, being your background and so on, to see how far this has come.
Yeah, it's massive. I was obviously at the first stop Bullseye in Blackpool 2 years ago, and I'm part of it. I'm part of the whole community already. I'm on their socials. I'm the Army Ambassador for Darts, so all this coming together, this is going to be so cool here tonight. It's a cool venue, the setup looks amazing, and I think they've just got better over the last 2 years, so hats off to Zara and the team.
Yeah, look, as well, but how big is this for darts in the military as well?
Yeah, it's huge. So I've noticed, my time was a long time ago in the forces, and darts wasn't a sport. It wasn't even classed as that. But you want to wait until that's done, or?
No, we'll just plough on, it's fine.
Just plough on, right, okay. So yeah, when I was in, it was always the normal sports, football, rugby and all that. But now, it's actually got the status of a sport in the branches in the military. Plus, there's dart zones on military bases now, which is unheard of. The dartboards used to have the treble 20 hanging out of them because no one turned the board, no one really cared about the naffy dartboard. But now these venues are amazing that the guys are setting up in Bryce Norton and army camps everywhere. So I actually love seeing the camps playing each other or the units playing each other. That's really cool. I see a lot of that on social, so I love that side of it as well.
Must be proud as well, because obviously we all know that your background, and they've almost got a figurehead. They can see you on the Ali Pally stage, and it gives them something to shoot for, perhaps when their time in the army is up.
Yeah, I think so. And look, let's not kid ourselves about. See some of these guys in here that are soldiers, sailors, airmen. They can play darts, and there's a lot of them here that will be thinking, I'm better than Suits. I could do that as well. So I'm under no illusions. There's a strong complement of dart players in here, and long may it continue.
Where can darts go in the forces? How big can this become? Because we see, obviously I live in an army town, and we see the footballers and so on. I won't give his name, but there was a very good footballer in the army that said he got released by, I think it was Wrexham, as a 15-year-old, and he still wanted to play football. He chose the army because he was going to get paid well to play football.
Yeah.
How far can darts go within the army?
Well, the whole point of the growing the game in the military is about it getting the status it deserves. So because of the mainstream sports, as you would call them, they get all the funding, they get all the time off. I remember our rugby team got like a year off from soldiering just to play rugby, and that's incredible. Darts will be a little bit behind that, but I think with the backing, you've actually got a lot of high-ranking forces personnel here tonight, and a lot of the ones that Zara knows from the RAF are up there as well. So when you have that kind of backing, it's not just the young soldiers on the floor that are playing, it's the senior officers. So if we can get them to combine and create something even bigger in darts, then the world is the oyster for the darts in the military. It's going to get bigger and bigger and bigger, and this is the catalyst for it all.
And as well, the professional players, the stars, including yourself, that we've got here that are buying into it as well, can only be great.
Yeah, I think it wouldn't work without that. It wouldn't get the same exposure. You guys wouldn't be here if it was just a military event per se. So I think having all the players that are here doing it for free, in this kind of world that we live in now, it's all money orientated and it's all driven by the cash. So I think there's calibre of player in here as well from the Pro Tour, likes of Chris Dobie, Justin Hood, Scott Williams. It's when you look around, you think, oh, that's a good pairing, because I know a lot of the military guys.
Yeah.
So there's going to be some tasty games in here tonight. It's difficult because it's pairs, but you'll see some class darts, and that's going to be a really good.
We know you like to cause mischief
Stop it
as well.
Stop it.
Who, me? Look, we know you are very outspoken. When you think something is wrong, that you're not going to bite your tongue, you are going to say it. And you've had plenty to say recently. Mm-hmm. Has anyone from the PDPA, the PDC, contacted you about your comments to explain why you think this and so on, to make things better?
The straight answer to that's no. But social media, I went for the PDPA Grouper check last week in Aberdeen, and it was great. And I felt, when I came out of there, I felt great, and I felt like I had to do a post on social saying, I'm outspoken, and I know I'm outspoken, and a lot of people go, yeah, but who even are you? You're not even a top player, so no one cares what you think. And maybe that's the same through the bigger echelons of the sport, but I'll say something, but it maybe only gets me a few likes on the socials on your videos. But apart from that, I'll still speak out. I'll still say when I think something's not in the best interest of the players or the sport in general. But I think they do a lot of things right, Phil, and I think the only time I get picked up is when I say something negative, and then I'm maybe not doing all right just now. Last couple of months I've been pretty poor, and it's probably not a good time to speak out about stuff, because they'll just pinpoint your performances and say, what are you moaning about? You're moaning because you're rubbish. But look, it is what it is, and I understand if the top guys speak out, they might listen a little bit more, and well, I'm not stupid. I understand that side of it, but I'll keep speaking out for the little guy like myself and guys around me in the rankings. But at the minute, it's actually going pretty good.
Are you worried then that perhaps down the line they'll make more changes to protect the even bigger players? Look, we've already seen some. Are you worried that they'll make more?
That's the product at the end of the day, isn't it? But I from my point of view, like the Euro Tour, the biggest one, the Euro Tour, I think you've noticed lately that a lot of the big players don't go. And the social media, you'll maybe see from your following that a lot of people will comment and say, it's really great to see such and such doing well. It's really good, Tom getting through to the semi-final in the last Euro Tour there. Everyone's like, oh, this guy's great, I've never really seen him before. We know him, and we know he's a cracking player, but I think from the point of view of the fans kind of like to see it because they see the top guys week in, week out in the Premier League for the first few months of the year. So the Euro Tour is a perfect place to let lower ranked players dip their toes in the water and get a bit of exposure, and that in turn increases, I think, the watching public, but it also increases the chances of these guys picking up sponsors, maybe having a bit more longevity in the game. So I don't think there's anything wrong with that, but I do understand the commercial side of it, and the big players sell tickets, but the Euro Tour sells like hotcakes anyway, so it's just my opinion.
Well, look, we know that you obviously do so much in your community back home, and obviously firemen, the guide dog breeding and so on. Is it becoming harder and harder to juggle your other commitments and trying to be a professional dart player? The way the tour is, it's relentless, and practice time and everything that's so on. Is it becoming harder to juggle?
Possibly that's part of the downturn in performances, because I still do all the other stuff as well as try to be a pro. But there's a lot more events as well, that they've increased the floor events, so a lot more travel from Scotland. But you can't complain about that because the guys travel from all over Europe and further afield. Jim Long, prime example. So I can't moan about the travel. I'm a few hours up the road, but it is harder. I think it is a little bit harder. I'm in year 6 now, so if you told me 6 years ago, you're going to keep your card for this long, I thought, well, that's pretty cool, because I didn't have any expectations going into getting my card. So I'm just going to hang about as long as I can and give you little sound bites for your interviews as long as I possibly can.
Look, how long have you got left in the fight? Because I remember you talking about your pension and whatever, and you weren't willing to give that up because it was worth a lot of money and like your future. How long have you got left until you can perhaps concentrate a little bit more?
Not that I'm counting, but 19 tours. 18 months left, so January 2028 is my 50th birthday. Yes, only 50. 50th birthday, so I can retire on my 50th birthday. So I will be retiring on my 50th birthday from the fire service. That in turn gives me more time to practice. I know you were going to follow up with that, but also I'm doing other stuff as well, and I've started another crazy events company in my own area in Scotland. So I'm not a guy that's going to sit about and do nothing, but I will put more time in on the practice squad, and I have been recently because of the downturn in performance. So I think a year and a half's time would be great to still have my card and still be well inside the top 64, but I need to do something in the next 18 months to stay there.
How good can Alan Soutar be then if you had time to dedicate like you're talking there? How good and how high can Alan Soutar then climb?
Yeah, that's a mental question, because I got to 32 in the first couple of years and thought, oh, this is all right, but there seemed to be that was a stopping point, and I didn't qualify for Ali Pali the following year, and the Grand Slam money then came off for the quarter-final, so you go from being up there to wow, you're way back down in the 50s, so it's very hard. But I think the standard's really high now as well, so every time I see a young player come into the sport and they get the card, I think they're going to come past me, and it's kind of been happening a little bit, so I'm kind of hanging on to the top 50-ish, 55, 56, so I could get in the top 32. I genuinely could. When I can compete, when I play my best darts, I beat everybody in that room. Yes, there is standout guys that do it all the time, but I've won a Pro Tour, I've been in the last 16 Ali Pali twice on the big stage. I've never done well on the Euro Tour. I've been on a Sunday twice, so that's something that I'd love to do better at a Euro Tour, maybe getting a Sunday and getting an evening session, but it's just ridiculously hard, and I think you do now need to be more dedicated than you ever have been.
Scotland, you've got a very special talent that we're all watching develop.
Cammy Menzies.
That's the one. Mm-hmm. It's hard not to talk about him because of what he's doing within the JDC and the WDF circuit. He can't even play PDC darts yet.
I know, scary.
How special can Mitchell be? Look, in terms of Scotland, you've got two of the greatest to have ever played the game in Gary and Peter.
Yeah.
Can he eclipse them? I know that's a big statement, but
Huge
look,
question,
but the numbers that we're seeing from him at this tender age, can he eclipse those two?
Amazing player. And I think I'm going to say something a little bit different to what you're wanting me to say. See, as a kid, a 15-year-old boy, see his interviews, you see the way he carries himself, see he's got a little bit of banter, he's got a little bit about him.
Yeah.
And I love that. I just watched the Six Nations interview when they were all lined up, and he was hammering Jamie Bain and that. And I love that side of him, and I want him to be that cheeky Scotsman, but his performances on the board are electric, and I watch him all the time, and like, I wanted him to win Lakeside, but it wasn't to be. But he will. The problem with everyone's comparing him to Luke, and he done an interview and basically said, look, I'm Mitchell Laurie, I'm not the next Luke Littler, and I love that as well, so he's going to be his own man. Let's see how he gets on next year. If he goes to Q School, he's old enough in January.
He's already said he's going. Does he get his card at the first attempt?
I hope so. You can't say it's a definite. I know you guys will shoot it on online things and speak about it and say this guy's a definite, but there ain't no definite.
I agree. Q School's a lottery. We've seen so many good players not get cards.
And he'll have to start at the back end as well, so that makes it harder for him. But he's young, and I think he'll come through it. I think he'll come through it, and then it's about how does he adjust in that room. But I tell you, another massive chuck up to Steve Brown and all the guys in the JDC. Craig Mitchell that does it in Scotland. The performances are due to the events that they put on. The cameras getting put in their face when they're 12, 13, 14, 15 then lends itself to their character comes out on camera better. They're not stuttery, they're not nervous, they're not daunted by it. So I think that's the whole process that Steve Brown's built and the guys in the JDC has led to Luke becoming Luke. It's led to Mitchell becoming Mitchell, and he's going to go on to be the third best Scottish player. But I think Cammy might have something to say about that. I might have something to say about it, and I'm sure Gary Anderson's going to hang about a few more years just to see what happens with Mitchell.
How many more hidden gems have you got north of the border then?
There's a few, like Owen Bryceland's just 2 9 darters already, and he's just young as well. So these guys are ridiculously young doing this, and to think 9 darters are not easy, but people just think now, it's another 9 darter because so many happen on the floor in the PDC. But imagine doing that at that 10, 11, 12-year-old, having 9 darters in tournaments in Scotland. It's not just practicing in a house, chugging 2 180s and banging out 1 for 1. They're doing it in live matches and events. So I think he's next after Mitchell, and there's a handful more that I could name a few of them, but it's unfair to name them in a sort of row or an order. But there's plenty, and it's getting bigger and bigger in Scotland. Loads more academies, loads more JDC events, and they're getting involved in all the stuff down here. So it's harder for Scottish kids, obviously, because Coventry, Bristol, down here, they've got to do a fair bit of travelling. Like this, for me, is 8 hours away from where I live, and there's guys live further north than me. So as a commitment, as a parent or as a guardian, that's a lot of commitment just for a game of darts, as a lot of people will still see it.
So if you could pick up Bradmore Farm, where would be the ideal place in Scotland to place it then?
Yeah, in the central belt somewhere. But like for me, the best place in Scotland for darts is Aberdeen, in the Grampian area. They've been the best county for a long time, and they've produced a lot of Scott Campbell, Jamie Baines, these type of Stephen Mickeys.
Shawnee Mack back in the day as well.
Exactly, all these youngsters, Sean Ryan, there was so many of them that lived in the north of Scotland. But Glasgow, Edinburgh area is obviously the sort of central belt, Stirling area, but I think darts is bigger than Aberdeen. But again, that causes travel. But if you're committed, Mitchell travels all over the place. He's down Coventry all the time, down Bristol, down here. So I think using travel as an excuse isn't an excuse. But this Bradmore Farm place, if you replicated this in a few places, even in England, if this was dropped in a few other places, drop 1 or 2 in Scotland, but it's incredible, absolutely incredible venue.
So it's just a pleasure catching up with you here, man. We wish you all the very best tonight, and say Operation Bullseye is well and truly underway.
Cheers, Phil.